Hey everyone, it's March 16th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with Colin Ireland, a serial killer from London known as the Gay Slayer, because he targeted gay men as victims, killing 5 in 1993. And that is him right up there. Born in 1954, Ireland's parents were unmarried teens, his father leaving his mother before birth, and as such, he never knew the man's identity. He was raised by his mother and maternal grandparents, and though his mother attempted to move them out of her parents' home many times, they always returned due to financial trouble. The frequent moves led to Ireland constantly being the new kid in school, and as he was also small in stature, he was often picked on by classmates. As he grew, so did his appetite for trouble, ending up in a borstal, which is a prison for youth offenders, as a teen for theft, arson, and robbery. He graduated multiple stints in actual prisons in his 20s, committing burglary, car theft, vandalism, extortion, and robbery. Ireland met a woman in 1981 who was confined to a wheelchair after a car accident, and they were married the next year. Unfortunately, there was no happy ending, and they were divorced in 1987 after admitted infidelity by Ireland. He married again in 1989, just 3 months after meeting his second wife, but a few months into the marriage, he took her car, withdrew all the money from their bank account, and left. Homeless, he now drifted through southern England, spending time in various suburbs of London. In an interview with the Sun newspaper, Ireland claims to have made a New Year's resolution to become a serial killer in 1993. He was fascinated by them and spent his spare time researching their methods and ways in which he may be able to evade suspicion. And surely there's no one you follow on TikTok that does that. They'd have to be a crazy person to have that obsession, and luckily I don't make New Year's resolutions. Ireland began in March of that year, posing as a top in gay bars in West London, believing that gay men into sadomasochism would be easier to kill because they would readily submit to dangerous situations which would allow him to carry out the deeds. His first victim was a choreographer who he tied to a bed, whipped and beat, then killed with a plastic bag over his head. At about the same time as the first murder, an English court ruled acts of S&M to be illegal, even for consenting adults, driving potential witnesses underground, refusing to cooperate with the police. Ireland killed again a couple months later in a similar fashion, then called and taunted police for failing to link the two crimes. A third victim was soon discovered, naked and bound, the son of a sitting U.S. congressman from Texas, and Ireland made another call to the police to take credit. A few hours later, he picked up another victim and even choked the man's cat to death. Ireland was ramping up the frequency of his crimes, killing for a fifth time the next week, attempting to burn the building down when he left. After a final call to the police, a large manhunt ensued that yielded security photos of Ireland, and he was soon apprehended, initially claiming to have just been at the home of one of the victims, but not to have killed them. When confronted with evidence that he had been at multiple crime scenes, he confessed to all 5 murders. After being sentenced to 5 consecutive terms of life in prison, he was sent to Wakefield Penitentiary, where he died in 2012 from pulmonary fibrosis. There are some reports that Ireland strangled a cellmate while incarcerated, but I've been unable to confirm those. If this was your birthday, I hope you had a great day. If you know somebody's birthday it is today, send in this video so I can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Colin Ireland, I have to say, happy birthday, you bastard.